What's up, guys? My name is Evan. I'm a Nuggets fan. I used to do YouTube videos on here about the Nuggets about 10 years ago. I remember covering the Carmelo trade when we traded him to the Knicks with Chauncey, of course, for Gallo, Wilson Chandler, Mozgov. Those good old days. And the last video I had made was like 6 years ago, covering the hiring of Mike Malone, and it's been a while for me since I've made videos about the Nuggets, and I tried logging in back to that channel and getting back into that account, but I'm locked out of it. I've done everything I can, exhausted every resource that I can, and I just can't get back into that account. So decided to make a new channel here on YouTube, and I'm gonna start doing videos once again on the Nuggets. Kind of started getting the itch again to talk about the Nuggets and talk about basketball here on YouTube. And I mean, today seemed like, a great day to come back and talk about the Nuggets given the NBA trade deadline and obviously the moves that the Nuggets made today. So great to be back here on YouTube. Great to be back talking hoops, and looking forward to getting into what the Nuggets did in the 2021 NBA trade deadline. Just to show you a little bit how big a Nuggets fan I am, got this little blanket right here. Little flag. Zoom out a little bit there for you guys. Sorry about my camera work. The God of Park Hill himself. Another little defense sticker. Got some shirts down here. Jamal Murray, cool shirt. Clutch juice. This is sorry about the mess, guys. This is love this hoodie right here. Classic, but yeah, just a big Nuggets fan. Just showing you guys a little bit of my fandom, and yeah, just how much I love this team. All right, so getting into the big move of the day, I think some people would argue this was maybe the biggest trade of the trade deadline overall, but of course the Nuggets made a deal with the Orlando Magic. We sent Gary Harris, RJ Hampton, and a protected 2025 first-round pick to Orlando for Aaron Gordon and Gary Clark. Enormous trade. Obviously, this has been a move that has been in the rumors for a while now, for a couple weeks now. But with rumors, and especially with the Nuggets, at least during Tim Conley's tenure as GM during the trade deadline, there's always been a ton of rumors, and nothing seems to ever come to fruition. So when I heard these initial reports about maybe the Nuggets being interested in Aaron Gordon, I was hesitant, excited but hesitant. But this really started to gain steam as we moved closer to the trade deadline, and to see it actually come to fruition, be a realization, and for us to, actually be the team that acquired Aaron Gordon when all these teams apparently were bidding for him. Boston, there's rumors were, offering up 2 first-round picks and Marcus Smart. I mean, it's incredible that we got him, and we got him for the price that we did. But first and foremost, before we get into, the exciting part of this trade and getting Aaron Gordon and being the team that got him and what this means for the Nuggets going forward, got to talk about Gary Harris. I mean, when I initially saw that Gary Harris was a part of this deal, it was kind of like a gut punch. It really was, because the initial report was that Will Barton was going to be involved in the deal, and that it was going to be a 3-team trade potentially that was going to send Will not to Orlando but somewhere else. And I'm not sure what happened to that, but this ends up being the deal, and Gary gets sent to Orlando. And it's just kind of emotional, I think, for anybody that's been a Nuggets fan for a long time. I mean, I've been a Nuggets fan since I was 4 years old. I remember my parents taking me to McNichols Arena and watching Antonio McDyess and Nick Van Exel in person. Like, my fandom runs very deep for this franchise. So I remember watching Gary as a rookie out of Michigan State. I remember seeing him come out. I think it was 2014. We draft him and Yusuf Nurkic, or we don't draft him. We trade for them on draft day in that deal. I think we took Doug McDermott at pick 11. And Gary was just kind of, he was a part of really kind of the changing of the culture here and moving on from the toxic environment that was kind of created by Brian Shaw and during those days. I mean, if you were a Nuggets fan during those Brian Shaw days, and the lineups of Aaron Brooks and Nate Robinson and Jan Vesely and Quincy Miller, you know what I'm talking about. So Gary was kind of the beginning of the changing of guard in terms of that era. And he really represents a moment in time in Nuggets history. And I mean, just looking back on his career, I got some stats here to the side of me. That's why I keep looking over. But looking on his career as a Nugget, in my opinion, he's, I think, an all-time Nugget in terms of the franchise's history. He played 387 career games here in Denver, 325 career starts, averaged 12 points per game, 2.6 rebounds, 2.1 assists per game, 1.2 steals per game, and shot 36% from three during his time here in Denver. And again, really was a pivotal piece in kind of the changing of the culture here. And his off-ball cuts, his game winners specifically, I remember a game winner I think he had against Dallas. I mean, his game winners I think were underrated that he had here during his time in Denver. And his defensive effort, especially like last postseason and the work he did against Donovan Mitchell in that first round against Utah, that epic first round playoff series against Utah. Gary, like that stuff will always hold a special place in my heart. And I know some people will say that that's cheesy, it's just basketball, and he's just an athlete, you don't even know him. But like I said, man, my fandom of this team and my love of the city goes deep. As a native of the city, and again, I've been a fan of this team since I was 4 years old. I'm 28 now, so it's been a journey. And Gary was Mr. Nugget for a while there for the 7 seasons that he was here, and really one of the best. And again, I'm gonna miss those off-ball cuts with him and Jokic, and I'm going to just miss the defense he provided, the threes he hit, and Orlando got a great one. Just a hell of a guy. Great person, too. Really was huge in turning things around here in Denver and getting this team to where it is now, and getting it to this kind of special moment in time for this city and for this franchise. A lot of that has to do with Gary. So much love to Gary. I wish him the absolute best in Orlando. And if you're a Magic fan, you're getting a great guy. Really, if he can get healthy, man, I think he can provide them with a ton of different things, especially if, Orlando, things go well for them. They get the number 1 pick. They get Cade Cunningham. A guy like Gary Harris, having him in your locker room for a guy like Cade Cunningham, be great to learn from a guy like Gary. So, and if not, I think Gary's a guy that, could get traded in the summer or be a buyout candidate, and he's going to go to a contender, maybe go home to Indiana. I could see a team like Atlanta maybe making a run for him. He reunites with Gallo. He'll be fine. He'll find his way. And I just hope he can get healthy, and I really appreciate the 7 years he gave to the Nuggets. He truly is someone that deserves his place in Denver Nuggets franchise history, and I hope he gets it. If not now, hopefully one day. And as for RJ Hampton, only played here 4 months, but that kid's got a bright future. He's a great athlete. He is a speedster in the open floor. And he's got potential, and he's got a lot of good people around him. Now in Orlando, I think he's got a great opportunity to shine, probably a better opportunity than he had here in Denver. But RJ Hampton, I don't think he's a guy that you're ever going to be able to really build your franchise around. I don't think he's ever going to be a superstar, but I still think he's a good young piece to have. And if you're a Magic fan, he's someone you can be excited about. And the first round pick, I got to be honest, is just kind of a throwaway. For the Magic, I don't think it has much value, and for us, it doesn't have much value either. So, as bittersweet as this trade is, it really is. It is kind of an emotional gut punch, especially to lose Gary. You look at this price tag that we gave up for Aaron Gordon, especially what was rumored being offered for him. You got to give Tim Connelly a lot of credit here. I really don't think he gave up much value at all. With all due respect to Gary Harris and RJ Hampton, I don't think we gave up really much at all to get a player of Aaron Gordon's caliber, and especially given what he can bring to our team. I think a protected 2025 first-round pick, a kind of iffy prospect, I think, in RJ Hampton, and Gary Harris, a veteran who's hurt but probably isn't in Orlando's long-term plans. I mean, that's you really didn't give up a whole lot there. So the price tag here is great, and as much as I love Gary, to get off his contract, you look at his contract. I mean, next season he's making $20.4 million. This year he's making $19.1. So to get off the rest of that contract's huge as well. So again, there's just so many positives to this deal. This is just an incredible move. I'm actually really surprised the Nuggets once again pulled it off. This is just a move during the Tim Connelly tenure that is is one that we've never really seen. You know, it's one that hasn't been likely, especially getting rid of a young prospect as well. I know Tim Conley probably didn't want to get rid of RJ Hampton. I'm sure that wasn't super easy for him to do, as much as I might not value RJ Hampton that highly. I'm sure Tim Conley did. But to get a player like, you know, Aaron Gordon, who was so sought after and seems like a perfect fit for us, again, when you look at some of our past trade deadlines, like the biggest moves we've made at the trade deadline under Tim Conley, I think, like, you know, you look back 2015 with Will Barton, Mason Plumlee, and Yusuf Nurkic. That deal was in 2017. I mean, other than that, we've traded for players like Roy Hibbert, Devin Harris, DJ Augustine. You know, last year, or in 2020, we traded for Shabazz Napier, and then we traded him for Jordan McRae. Like, those are the big moves we've made at the trade deadline. And the funny thing is the Nuggets have always been linked to big names like Aaron Gordon. You know, obviously Bradley Beal, those rumors have been, you know, nauseating for the past year. You look at Drew Holiday, obviously, before he went to Milwaukee. We were, you know, definitely linked to him. Dwayne Wade in free agency. I think it was before he signed with Chicago. You know, he had visited Denver, and there's rumors, oh, he's going to come to Denver, this young up-and-coming team. Kevin Love, Tobias Harris. I mean, we're always linked to these kind of guys, again, during Tim Conley's tenure as GM. And, again, we always end up getting guys like Roy Hibbert. Or you know, I remember we made a trade for, you know, involving Jordan Hamilton one trade deadline. Like, we never make moves like this. So for us to finally pull it off and to do it for this price tag, again, as much as it hurts to lose Gary, it's just so unbelievable. And I can't say enough about the work Tim Conley did here in our entire front office. They deserve a ton of credit for pulling this off and negotiating a deal like this to get a guy like Aaron Gordon and finally getting this player. Again, it's felt like this move is been building. It's been like bubbling under the surface for the Nuggets to make this kind of move forever, and it's been there. But like Drew Holiday, the Nuggets didn't want to get rid of 3 first-round picks, and, you know, the price tag for a guy like Kevin Love at the time, you know, it was probably too high. And the same thing with Bradley Beal right now. You don't want to really have to get rid of Jamal Murray, right? That's probably what you'd have to get rid of in a potential deal with Washington. So to finally get this player and to get it, you know, on the terms I think you would probably want, I mean, this is, you know, as a Nuggets fan, it's like, pinch me. This doesn't usually happen for us. If you really know our franchise's history and our track record, man, it's really exciting to have Aaron Gordon. Again, I think he's a perfect fit for our team, and I'm really excited to see what he brings to the Mile High City. 25 years old still, which is insane. I mean, now you look at our core, you got Jokic 26, I think Murray's 23, MPJ's 21, you got Gordon 25. To have your big four all 26 and under, that's insane. And you look at his stats, I mean, on a really bad Orlando team, he's been really productive, averaging 14.6 points, 6.6 rebounds, 4.2 assists, about a block and a steal per game in 25 games this season for the Magic, also shooting a career-high 37.5% from beyond the arc. He's really starting to kind of flourish this year. And again, that's on an Orlando Magic team where he's been asked to kind of be the initiator of offense, or one of the main initiators of offense on that team, and be a shot creator and constantly have to attack off the dribble. In Denver, he's not going to be asked to do that. He's going to be our fourth option offensively, and playing with a playmaker like Nikola Jokic and playing off 2 scorers like Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., I can only imagine the kind of shots this guy is going to get in terms of the quality of looks he's going to get now, whether that be from beyond the arc or just like lobs with Jokic, shots at the rim, mid-range jumpers. He's not going to be asked to do as much off the dribble here now, or play make as much, even though he can. And I think that's going to be huge for him, and it's going to open up a kind of new world for him, not only in terms of his view on the game, but also kind of the things he can do offensively. I think his off-ball scoring here in Denver is going to be so elevated and enhanced, playing with, you know, arguably the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic, but without a doubt the best playmaker in the world in Nikola Jokic. And again, you're playing off these 2 scorers in Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. That's a little different than Al-Farouq Aminu and Evan Fournier. with all due respect. So I think Aaron Gordon's just going to shine here. And I think those numbers, again, 14, 7, and 4, shooting 37.5% from three. That his shooting is definitely streaky, but again, I think he's going to get a lot more quality looks from three here in Denver. And I think if he can, stay up over 35% from three, that's huge for our team. And I definitely think he can average 14, 7, and 4. The assists might come down for him, but I think, honestly, with our team, his playmaking also might shine more because he really is a good passer, and playing within our offense and the flow of our offense and the playmakers and just guys that we have, the personnel we have, that number might go up. But I easily could see him averaging, definitely as a starter here for us, 16, 17, 18 points a game, 7, 8 rebounds, stay around those 4 assists. I mean, he's going to be a hell of a addition for our team. I definitely think you can start him at the 3 or the 4. I think him and Michael Porter are really interchangeable at the 2 forward spots for you. Me personally, just my preference, I would like to start MPJ at the 4 and Gordon at the 3, but again, I don't really care. I think their interchangeability is now huge for you. And the biggest thing Aaron Gordon brings to your team is obviously his defense. I mean, you're talking about a guy that is a very good defender. You now have a guy that can defend the likes of Luka Doncic, can defend LeBron James, Devin Booker, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. You have a guy that can match up with those guys. And his versatility defensively is just massive, what it provides for our team specifically, and what it can do for our team, especially what it can do for our starting lineup now, and what it can do for a guy like Michael Porter Jr., what it can do for even someone like Jokic. I think that's going to be absolutely enormous for us. And I tell you what, to have a guy that can defend the 1 through 4 effectively like he can is it's just invaluable in today's game. And not only that, but I think the potential combination of him and Zeke Naji, to have those two guys at your disposal defensively and be able to deploy those guys on opposing wings, and have those two guys on the floor defensively and have them just kind of all over the place and switching constantly. I mean, the switchability now you have defensively is great. I'm just really excited about that as well. Defensively, I cannot overstate what Aaron Gordon brings to this team and what he kind of replenishes in terms of what we lost with Jeremy Grant that we were missing, quite frankly. When we lost Jeremy Grant in free agency to Detroit, Aaron Gordon replaces a lot of that and adds some. That's kind of how big of an addition he really is. I really think on our team he really is basically just going to be like Jeremy Grant, except just a better version of Jeremy Grant. I think the only thing Jeremy Grant really does better than him is he probably has a little bit better ball handling, I'd say. And you could argue about the shooting, but I still think Aaron Gordon's trending up, and I think Aaron Gordon's a pretty good shooter in his own right. And again, he's going to get such good quality looks within our offense. The amount of lobs he's going to get, I cannot wait to see him catch lobs from Jokic, and just see him in general in a Nuggets uniform and within our starting lineup. I mean, this was really a kind of home run move by the Nuggets, and it really is a move that you don't see often from us, and it's huge. The only downside of this move that makes me kind of a little bit hesitant, as excited as I am, a little bit hesitant, is Aaron Gordon can do to us what Andre Iguodala did when he signed with Golden State, and what Jeremy Grant did when he signed with Detroit in free agency this last offseason. Is in 2022 he's an unrestricted free agent. You look at his contract, I believe he makes $18 million this season. Next season he makes about $16.5 million. If for some reason it doesn't work here, or some reason he doesn't like it here, or he does what Iguodala or Jeremy Grant does, he sees a better fit somewhere else, man, this is going to look bad. This really is. It's going to just be like, it's just going to be another disappointing chapter in the annals of Nuggets history. So that's the really thing that scares me a lot is Aaron Gordon can be an unrestricted free agent in 2022, but you hope maybe we can work out an extension before then, and you hope it just works out to where he loves being here. And I heard, we played Orlando recently. He loved what he saw from our team, and I guess really is excited to be here. So you hope all that's true, and you hope it works out, and we win a ring, obviously best case scenario, but you hope we win a lot of games and we contend, and we're really a championship contender, and he falls in love with the culture here and playing with a guy like Jokic and Murray and the rest of the guys. And I just, man, I hope this doesn't bite us in the ass like Grant and Iguodala did. But nonetheless, just a crazy move. So ecstatic to have Aaron Gordon here in Denver. It's wild that we were actually a team that got him after all the rumors and all the teams apparently bidding for him. And again, looking at the history of Tim Conley's tenure and all the names that we've been linked to throughout the years, from Drew Holiday to Bradley Beal to Tobias Harris, to Kevin Love, to now be linked to that guy once again and actually get him at the trade deadline instead of, Roy Hibbert or Senkayol or whatever that one Turkish prospect we had and we traded at the trade deadline. I remember, or like I said, Jordan McRae. Or Devin Harris, with all due respect. Like, it feels really nice, and I cannot wait to see Aaron Gordon's Nuggets debut, and I cannot wait to see him playing next to Jokic, MPJ, and Jamal Murray and forming this new big four in the Mile High City. What do you think of Aaron Gordon becoming a Denver Nugget? What do you think of Gary Harris and RJ Hampton being sent in the deal to Orlando? And what do you kind of think Gary Harris means to this franchise and its history? And what do you guys make of the team also adding JaVale McGee? And any other thoughts you guys have on these other moves that were made at the deadline? We saw Victor Oladipo go to Miami, Evan Fournier to Boston, which I think was a great move. Nikola Vucevic to Chicago with Arturas Karnisovas, former Nuggets executive, really doing some great things there in Chicago. I think Zach LaVine and Vucevic is probably going to be one of the funnest, best duos in the league now. And there's some other moves as well. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts on those, truly. And yeah, just really excited as a Nuggets fan, man. This feels good to finally be the team that made that move at the deadline, right? And again, all these years of those trades, as I said, for the Roy Hibberts and Devin Harrises of the world, and the Senkayols, to now be that team that got Aaron Gordon, just dope. So excited to have Aaron Gordon here in Denver. Welcome him and Gary Clark. Of course, welcome JaVale McGee back, and a big Mile High salute to Gary Harris, man. Gonna miss him, and wish him and RJ Hampton the best in Orlando. Peace, guys.